going on? Just another video coming up. This video actually was one that I was surprised to not find on YouTube at all, and it really didn't have much on the internet when it comes to the submarine aspect of being a logistics specialist. So I guess from my point of view, I'm going to break it down from what I understand. I'm not a logistics specialist, so I can't really give you the fine details, but I did have to work with them for a significant amount of time underway. And I did sit next to one as a helms and planes operator. I was the helm, he was the planes operator for 8 hours a day for a deployment. So I would say that I have a pretty good concept of what they do. And I know for a lot of you who want to become an LSS, you really want to get the fine details. But unfortunately, if you want the fine details, you're just gonna have to talk to one. But I'm the best when it comes to getting you there. So, logistics specialist submarines. What does that mean? What does that have to do with me being on board a submarine? That's what you may ask yourself. So, being a logistics specialist submarine, the best way to sum it up in the easiest way would just be to say they deal with the ordering of supplies. Just think about supply department. That's what they're actually attached to. The logistics specialist submarines are attached with the culinary specialist, and the person in charge of that supply department is also known as a supply officer. His nickname for submarines is called the Chop. So when you think of the Chop, you think of the culinary specialist, you think of the logistics specialist. They make the triangle of supply department. Now, once again, it all has to do with supply. The culinary specialist supply food for the crew. The logistics specialist submarines will supply parts for the submarine, repair parts, which is one aspect, and consumable parts, things we have to use on a daily basis, such as paper, such as ordering new printers, such as ordering tools to do maintenance, ordering new things that we may need for, certain departments that are required. So it's supplies and ordering. That's the way that I would most likely describe it in the easiest way. Logistics specialists submarine have to go through the same pipeline as yeomen. They graduate boot camp, they go to Meridian, Mississippi for their A school, and then they go to basic enlisted submarine school, and then they show up to their first submarine after that. Same exact path. Now, where the breakdown may be a little different will be the aspect of what they actually do on board, right? So you have to think that the makeup, once I said, is the supply officer. Then you have your leading LS, leading logistics specialist. And then you have you. You're the more junior person showing up, will just be the junior LS, right? So you're gonna have 3 or 4 of you that are working hand in hand with replenishing parts on board this submarine. Let's, for instance, engineering could have broke a piece of equipment. They're gonna go to your department and request to have a new part. And you guys run the repair parts petty officer program, where you train these different departments on board the submarine how to order new parts if things were to break. So that's a huge aspect of getting that program run. Another huge aspect would be the hazmat program. There's a lot of things on board submarines that we simply cannot just throw overboard. We have to follow laws that civilians have to follow in terms of getting rid of our waste. And the supply department runs the hazmat program on board. Now, when it comes to your sole purpose as someone checking for the first time, you do have a lot of backup in your department. So the submarine yeoman has the leading yeoman who's the system expert, but your system expert is supposed to be the supply officer. So you do have a supply officer, and you do have a leading LS, which is generally an E6 or an E7. So you do have a lot of support. Now you have your own space on board the submarine where you generally will store replacement parts if need be in case of You know, anything on the submarine may possibly have gone wrong, you can repair it right away. There's also parts you don't have, which you may have to request from another submarine. Now, in that case, there's different things that supply department has to do to take action. And that is basically what the job is. It's taking action if you need to get a part or a supply that's not on board that for a repair. You also need to take action to get supplies that are just routine supplies that you just need every month, every 6 months, every year. Like I said, the repair parts pay after program, RPPO, they have people in every division who basically will give you their supply list for the year. I, as a yeoman, need pens, I need notepads, I need legal paper, I need award folders, I need to get special equipment sometimes ordered to scan things in. Now, I will have to come up with a list and submit that to supply department so that they can get me everything on that list. And that is the gist of what the job is. They will obviously stand the same watches as yeomen. They will either stand helms and planes, or they will stand sonar operator. Or if they want to do something else, that's honestly up to their chain of command in their department. But generally it's the same for YNS and LSS. But I will give you this, when it comes to LSS, when they're done with their sea duty, their shore duty tends to not be so bad from what I've talked to other LSSs. Whereas, you know, we as a submarine yeoman will go and just do admin in another location, whether it's on a submarine or not. Where LSS, they can work in a warehouse, they can work at a naval submarine support center, they can work who knows where else, but they can go overseas and do special billets. I don't know all of them, but I do know that when it comes to the shore duty, it's not so bad. Now, for advancement for LSS, I would say that's not too bad either, because when you really look at the numbers, there are 444 total LSs in the submarine force. 444, that's the exact number. So when you look at that many people and you think about advancement, you would think it's not so bad, right? And you're kind of right, advancement is pretty good. And I would say right now that the LSs get special pays. If they go back-to-back sea duty as well, it's an extra $800 to go back out to sea to do a double sea duty. If you're a first-time logistics specialist submarines, you actually get a huge pay jump, which, hey, that's not bad. No one else gets that amount. So I would say if you're really looking into it, the money's definitely not that bad if you extend your sea duty, and the advancement's not bad either. Now, as far as the job, I would say not much changes in it. The job is pretty much supplies, ordering supplies, distributing supplies, getting people to run a supply program to get you a list of supplies you need to order. I would say that it's mostly just dealing with the ordering of new supplies and acquiring different repair parts to repair the submarine, and that would be the basic way of breaking it down. And yeah, if you have any questions, I can ask the logistics specialist submarine that I work with, or I could just reach out. I have a bunch of friends who are them, and get you more answers. But other than that, just let me know what you want next. I could do all the submarine ratings if you want, you know what I'm saying? I'm probably the most knowledgeable because I'm the YNS warrior, and that means I have to write all their evaluations, so I totally understand what everyone does on board. Now, of course, with that being said, that doesn't mean we don't work hard. Remember, if you want to be in the submarine force, you need to be submarine tough.